This is the weekend when we celebrate all things Canadian. We start with the incredible beauty of this part of God's creation, from the towering Rockies of the Laurentians and Newfoundland. Some 32,000 large lakes, their numbers found in every province and territory. Forests that cover almost 900 million acres, and all the fields and marshes and ice scapes in between. Then there's the beauty of the peoples of Canada, the most multicultural country in the world, welcoming people from far and wide, bringing with them their languages, religions, customs, foods, and dreams, all working together to let everyone come to know Canada as home. We live under a constitutional monarchy that works and invites your participation. Whether you agree with who is in office today, you can be sure that another election will come, and you can run in it, work on it, put a sign on your lawn, or ignore it altogether. You can protest government decisions, boycott their meetings, challenge them in court, and start your own party if you like. These are privileges that so much of the world will never experience. We have laws and a judicial system that has matured over 1,000 years of developing the notion of protecting citizens and human rights, and is the envy of so many. Power lines crisscross the country, bringing light and heat to every home. Communication lines keep us in touch with those we love near and far. Planes and trains and highways open up the world to us and fill our stores with goods from every nation and fresh strawberries and bananas year-round. Plants dot the land that ensure we have fresh water flowing through our pipes and waste is safely disposed of. We have schools with compulsory education, not merely for the elite and privileged. We have colleges and universities, apprenticeship programs, and mentoring. We have a medical system that is paid for by the taxpayers, not merely those who are ill. The list goes on and on. We have so much to celebrate. But amid those celebrations, we should be counting our individual blessings, living in this land and benefiting from everything I've just listed. Unfortunately, far too many Canadians spend far too much time complaining about what they want or think that they're entitled to, rather than just being grateful. Last week I talked about bucket lists, things that we wanted to do before we died. And this week, I've been hearing about plans and dreams from a number of you, and I'm really delighted with the lists that are being made up, largely of things you want to accomplish that require hard work on your part, not things you want handed to you on a silver platter or expecting the government to provide. I was interested in how many people are actively working on their goals, people who are hitting the gym every day to get ready to run in a marathon, or go on a camping trip into the rugged countryside, or to lose a significant amount of weight, even if it is to look breathtaking as a bridesmaid next year. I met a young woman who's determined to become a personal chef, and clearly is prepared to do the dirty work of scouring the ovens and the pots and the pans, as well as icing a beautiful cake. Another who's taking on every available teaching hour to finance her own studies. Dreams that will become realities because of grit and determination, and that is what built this country. And it is what needs to be encouraged in every imaginable way, because it is what builds strong men and women who can stand up for what is right and just, kind, and encompassing. These are the people who will build our future if we do not interfere too much by imposing the belief that we're entitled to things that we're not entitled to. When I was young, my mother, who wasn't a particularly religious person, would say, "But for the grace of God," followed by, "That could be you," or me, when we heard a news report of some awful accident, or saw a picture of some starving child with a begging bowl, or read the latest report on the hideous camps of the Second World War. I hear her voice in the back of my head today when I see a homeless encampment overtaking a park, or feel threatened by a mentally unhinged TTC rider, or a dirty sponge hits my car windshield while stopped for a light. I hear it when I see a friend slowly slipping into dementia and no longer able to remember where he knows me from. Or when the dream of a home is lost to the ever higher price of houses and property taxes, or a mother learns of her child's diagnosis of leukemia. There is tragedy in this world, even in Canada, but here we're protected from the worst of it. No one needs to starve in Canada, although some diets I've been on made me feel that it was just a matter of time. But the bloated bellies of the stories of my childhood have not changed. Their numbers have only grown with the population explosion since then. There is war and suffering for so many. There are diseases that have been eradicated in the West that still claim third world lives. Dictatorships benefit a few and stamp on the rights of all else. This Canada Day weekend, I am celebrating this great land, and I am listing the things that have particularly blessed my life. My faith that strengthens me when I am weakest, and Archdeacon Bob Dan, who nourished its growth. 5 incredible children who challenged me every step of the way and brought so many friends to our home to fill it with laughter, huge appetites, and screwball notions that so often worked out. Loving parents who demanded much and gave me confidence. A husband perfectly designed for me. The family fishery at Port Crew, where I learned how businesses can succeed and then fail, and how hard the work of farms and fisheries really is. U of T and all the fabulous things learned there, and professors who inspired me. Professor Grosskirth, who introduced me to biographies, to understand people, and who was godmother to the child born while I was in her class. Professor Edwards, who taught me that mastering the opposition's position shows you the weaknesses of your own arguments. And Professor Bowen, whose unfolding of the gospel in practical ways lets me try the untried. Bosses over the years that taught me so much, both what to do and not do. Harry Cross, who hired me as Toronto's first female wedding photographer to prove to his girlfriend that a woman couldn't do the job. Rabbi Shulman at Mount Sinai, who taught me how to listen, to sit still, and just be there. David Mall, who taught me the value of personal contact as a lawyer or a politician. Bishop Yu, who gambled on me when others wouldn't. Friends who shared my life and so enriched it. Jennifer, Fred, Elizabeth, Fran, Louie, Sylvia, Joanne, Linda, Jillian, Nicole, and Jake. And organizations that let me serve on their boards or contribute and volunteer in the fields. The Knights Templar, Canadian Red Cross, Scottish Castles Association, Royal Commonwealth Society, the Canadian Bar Association, Society of Antiquarians, Scots, Plan International, Canadian National Exhibition Board, St. Paul's Bloor Street, and St. Monica's. The lists will never end, and so much of what I have is because I was so blessed to be born in this land. So this Canada Day, stop looking at what could improve or what you don't like or what nonsense the politicians are up to, and join me in counting our blessings. Each of us so blessed by our loving God. So may it be. Amen. After you make your list, how about tracking down one of those special people who you haven't seen in ages and chat about the joy they brought and the memories you share?